Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode, a long-awaited episode of Couch Comics and Commentary here at the Dragons Area in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We are here. We're back. We've been around, but we just haven't been around, as Mike would say. It's probably because you guys are doing the freaking band stuff. But we are back for sure.
I like how you throw probably in.
Yeah, probably.
So we are back. We're going to be talking about Heroes Convention this past weekend, Heroes Con 2023 in Charlotte. It was last week. It's a great time always. I'm going to talk about that. Of course, we have me, myself, Bernie or B-Man, and then we have
Smitty,
Mike,
Ian, and we got Ian here. We have Ian in the
we
session.
brought Ian into it.
Session. He
Crossed arms.
crossed arms. He's like that.
Our bouncer. So yeah, guys. So Heroes Convention was last weekend, and I got some questions for you guys. Hopefully,
yeah,
you know,
I have a question for you.
Why wasn't I there?
Where were you the whole weekend from Thursday to Monday?
I was doing my own thing.
Okay, cool, fair
Doing
enough.
my own thing.
Too easy.
But he's going to
Because
be.
we were there.
Yeah, I know you were.
But he's going to be at
I
Galaxy
know you
Con.
were.
Okay.
And
We'll
that's
see.
why
We'll see.
that's why I'm asking you guys the questions.
All right, go ahead. Hit it.
So my first question is actually, tell me about your first Heroes Con.
Let's start with you.
Your first Heroes Con.
First Heroes Con
He was
actually
very little.
very little. It was pretty cool. First con, I got to meet Stanley, and
Which was Heroes Con 2015.
15. God, that's,
Yeah.
wow, back then.
7 years ago.
Yeah,
It's
that.
actually 8.
Act like you're
I'll let
old.
Oh, yeah, so
It's actually 8, but it's okay.
we always forget.
Hey, you see how he's like, oh gosh, like he's so old.
But no, meeting Stanley for the first time at my very first con, like first Comic Con.
That'll be a badass
That's
achievement.
one of the most memorable.
That's one on
I don't
one
know if
right
you can
there.
top
That's
that.
one on one.
That's one
So,
on one.
so the little story about the we just talked about this the other day yesterday. So, Ian is there. He's how old are you? 15. So you were like 8, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
7. So he's in there, and if you ever come to the Dragons, there's a picture of us all of us. We
Yeah.
did the picture of Stanley, and Ian's like this. He's all like this with a big smile on his face. And they say, do not touch Stan Lee because Stan Lee, the germ factor.
Yeah.
So old.
So Ian looks at him and says, rightfully, he goes, I'm one of your biggest fans. And Stanley touches him on the head.
He
And
cut
we
me
cut
in the back. He was like,
Oh, is
I
it
was
in
like,
the back?
Spider-Man's my favorite character ever,
Yes.
and he was like, that's great.
That's cool. So we walk out, and he goes, Stanley touched me.
Oh god. Probably got the best
We're
picture
like,
Can't
yet.
say that.
shh, you can't say that. You can't
Stanley
say
would
that.
get canceled right now.
He would've
So,
been canceled if it was today.
as a kid, that was a great thing for your first convention. And for us, we're like, don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
So Mike, your first Heroes
So
Con.
it's crazy, right? Because I used to buy turtle figures from Toys R Us, and the manager from Toys R Us, me and him got to build kind of like a friendship, right?
Is that Brad Langley?
Yeah.
Brad Langley.
So Brad tells me, "Hey, you're really, like a big turtle collector. You know that the creator is going to be at Heroes Con, like this weekend." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
When was the last time he was at Heroes?
2014.
Wow.
So I told my wife Danielle, I said, "Hey, we're going to a convention," and Danielle was talking the most poop. So I was already kind of like in a bad mood or whatever, and we ended up going. I met Kevin Eastman for the first time.
Were you
That's what I
fanboying
bought
over?
my Turtles #1.
Did he touch you too?
Danielle loved it. No, he did not touch me. He did not touch me.
He just did that recently.
But Kevin Eastman, he's like super nice with
Yeah.
his
He's
with
a real
his
nice
fans. He took the time, talked to us, signed a bunch of stuff. Danielle ended up loving it, and from then
on, now she don't call you a nerd
Heroes
anymore.
Cup. Nope. Now she gives me $1,000 statues.
There you go. Bernie?
You're
How
welcome.
about yours?
You're welcome.
Yeah, I know. Because I would have never bought it.
I know. Let's see. I'll tell you about the first Heroes Con that I went to as far as being there all weekend.
Okay.
Because the first time I went, it was just I was there and I was walking around like this. But the second time I went as just for the whole weekend, man, that was like 1991.
Woo!
I wasn't even born then.
Hey, I was still in high school.
1991, and that was actually a pretty cool convention. We got to meet a lot of creators, a lot of these guys who are now big names. We met when they were little. I met Tony Harris, Jason Pearson, Dave Johnson, Brian Stilfreeze, Adam Hughes. All these guys were just part of like Gaijin Studios. They're just starting out. Yeah, exactly. Adam Hughes. All these guys were just starting out. And then I guess the most important guys that I met was George Perez and Joe Quesada.
And he became good friends
with George Perez and actually Joe Quesada. So it was actually pretty cool. What I remember most is, like I said, going to conventions, so on like that. But I remember the Heroes used to be held in the Holiday Inn downtown. It was still a big place, but not as big as the convention center.
Yeah.
And I remember
is the same Holiday Inn the one that goes down behind the NASCAR?
No, this Holiday Inn's actually where Angel stayed, which is down the it's actually by the Spectrum Center. It's way down there. So that's where they used to hold the Heroes Con. And I remember they used to have a party. It's pretty cool. They would have a host party, like on Saturday Night Heroes would have our party. And we went there. I had brought my ex, my friend, and she met George Perez. And then that's how we
being the Crimson Plague.
Yeah, the Crimson Plague. Yeah. And then after that, we all, the party, she went to go dance with them. And then we all went to the elevator. As we get in the elevator, it's Joe Quesada and some of those other guys I mentioned. Yeah. And they go, hey, do you want to go to the bar and party? Yeah. Heck yeah. So we went to the bar, party, and that's how I got to know all these guys. Yeah. So, man, that's what I remember about my very first Heroes Con going for the weekend. But, man, it's always a great thing.
So Heroes Con has obviously changed a lot over the years, from the 90s to now. Mm-hmm. But I want to know who your absolute favorite artist encounter was with.
You can go.
Your absolute favorite, like you just never forget it.
At Heroes?
Yeah.
I think for me it would be Kevin Eastman. Because
so talk about the encounter. Like, what do you do?
I think for me it would be Kevin Eastman because ever since I was a kid, you know, I've always liked Turtles. Turtles is not something that just popped out of nowhere.
Right.
I've always been a fan of Turtles. When we were growing up, my older brother liked He-Man and Transformers. My middle brother liked anything Marvel. And I was stuck with like the cartoony Street Sharks, Turtles stuff, which it was more around, you know, the time that I was growing, the early 90s. Because I'm young.
So it meant more to you just because of your love of Turtles.
Well, yeah. And then
not because of the creator itself necessarily.
And not just the way Kevin Eastman is, right? Like even though Kevin Eastman is the Kevin Eastman, is the co-creator of possibly the biggest independent, you know,
franchise ever.
He's like super humble. He takes the time with the fans. You know, he talks to you. He makes you feel good. He's not one of those creators that like, hey, let me sign that. Okay, next one. He takes his time. He's super nice, super chill. And I mean, for me to go to a first con and meet pretty much kind of similar to his
at that point.
Similar to his experience, right? He went to his first con, he met Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Like the biggest, most famous creator, right? So for me it was kind of the same. That's where the love for you know, Turtles and the Turtle team kind of grew, because at that point I was like, this guy's badass. Like, he's legit a nice person, right?
Yeah.
So
I will say, if you're going to stand in line with Mike to get an autograph, please make sure you wear deodorant, because he will call you out.
Or you take a shower.
Or you take All right, Ian.
Well, I don't think I have a favorite, but I definitely enjoy meeting all the Spider-Man artists, just because it's really cool to talk to them and just see their vision of Spider-Man, see like their
I mean, that's pretty tough, right? I mean, how many ways can you draw Spider-Man, really? You know,
but everybody draws different.
Everybody draws differently.
Does like in their own way.
Somebody does it. Some people do it really badly, like Mark Bagley, things like that. But anyway,
all the Spider-Man artists are definitely cool, and probably another Miko Sound is really cool. He's down to earth. He's like, oh yeah, man, we could do this, and it's really awesome to talk to him.
That's good stuff, man.
I want Filipino.
Yeah,
Filipino.
I want to add to that, right? Like, you have two sides of the coin, right? Like, you got these artists that be like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then you have these other artists that you say, hey, can you sign here? And then they do a sketch, and they shake your hand, and then they ask you. And you're like, man,
take a picture with you.
Man, I love this motherfucker. You know, like...
Well,
you want something to drink? You want something to drink?
A lot of times, if artists are like that, it makes you like their work even more.
100%. 100%.
And I'll be honest with you, before I tell me, to go in this discussion, so we're talking about this, that's where the change is.
Yeah.
From when I was going back then to now. And it kind of makes me sick, because that's what I noticed on Saturday. So Saturday, back in the day, all the artists would be in place when they opened the doors. They would be in place. And now, it kills me because you can tell the old time artists are there. They're there at 9:30. The newer artists, they don't care.
A lot of them have this sense of entitlement, like you're here for me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you're on my time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you know what?
Yeah.
Here's how I look at this. After you walk out of this convention, no one knows no one's gonna know who you are.
Yep.
You know, and that's what I think sucks about some of these newer artists and creators. It's made me sad for them.
I did.
It's almost like they think they're rock stars.
Yes.
And they don't care how long you wait in line before they get there. They don't give a crap. And then when they get there, it's like a privilege that they're there.
Exactly.
Yep. A lot of them
you're the one paying the money to get their autograph.
A lot of them are like that.
And then the fact that some of them charge $200-$300 for an autograph, I think is still insane too. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, so
Bernie,
of course, I guess
favorite.
my favorite was just like you guys. You guys met some people when you first George Perez. Of course, George Perez for me growing up was like
such a good guy.
It was George Perez and John Byrne. But after meeting both and actually getting to know George, it's like apples and oranges.
Yeah.
George was such a generous person. It's crazy. He was always nice. I've personally never seen him be bad to a fan, but I remember meeting him and then when I befriended him. And I remember calling my house and going, it's still a fan, but going,
yeah.
George Perez.
Yeah.
I'm in the phone with George Perez. But then, it's bad when you start to become friends. They call and you're like,
yeah.
Oh man, I love George, but if I get on the phone, we're going to be on the phone for like an hour. So I'll just call him back.
Yeah.
That's when the hero factor has kind of worked out because it's a friend, but still, I love you.
But like Mike was saying, like you said earlier, what's changed is those guys did it because they love comics. They love drawing.
For sure.
They love creating.
Yes.
And they love their fans. And they know they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the fans.
Exactly.
And I think you guys are right. A lot of the artists nowadays have lost that factor.
Yes.
Where they say where they say, oh, I'm so good, I'm so important, everybody loves me, so I'm going to do whatever I want,
and I kind of
not care about fans.
I kind of understand a little bit, right? Because the comic book world has moved more into a business like,
and it's also because of the movies.
So
right,
a lot of them are mad.
Back in the day, everybody worked because they love comics. Now people work because they love the money. They want, oh snap, the new Marvel movie's coming out. I'm gonna have to.
But you got to remember too that back in the day, it was embarrassing to admit that you were a comic book artist.
For a
long time.
Yes.
I mean, hell, even Stan Lee and all those other guys said that.
Yeah, and
they lied.
Yep.
They lied about what they did.
That's why he came up with a different name. Yeah,
That's why he came up with Stan Lee.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's, times have definitely changed. So, this last Heroes Con, let's talk about this last Heroes Con, last weekend. And tell me about one of the most favorite things you got at Heroes Con. Experience, product, whatever you want to talk about. Who wants to go first? Ian?
I hit it. So, it was for me, this Heroes Con was pretty much entirely focused on getting signatures and getting to meet some of the creators that I haven't had the chance. David Nakayama. DNA. It's one of those artists that I love his work ever since he started coming out. Then he hit it with the Spider-Gwen and the Black Cat covers, and that kind of pretty much sold me out on his stuff. Got to meet him, got to get my book signed by him. Super nice guy, super humble. Again, one of those creators that sits there, talks to you, make you feel good, look at your books, talks about, like I show him I had an ash cam and I had the metal gargoyles. And he was like, oh, you're a retailer? Because this was supposed to be like one per store. And I said, well, one of my best friends owns a comic book store. And then I bought another one at a second comic book store, and he was like, "Oh, that's awesome, man!" Like he was looking at the book, he was like, "This is the first Ashcombe that I signed." Yeah. So it was for me, you know, an artist that had a line a mile long it's kind of annoying when you're on the other end of the line, right? Because you're like, come on, man, hurry up. I got to get this signed. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go eat. I got stuff going on.
I got another artist I got to get signed.
But when you make it to the artist and he takes your time and he makes the interaction personal, it just makes it all so much better.
Yeah, that was for sure.
So I got to meet David Nakayama, who this is the first time I got to meet him. Brett Breeding, the comic, the cover artist for the first Thundercats. Yeah. He was pretty badass. He was pretty badass. He's one of those old artists. Again, that talks.
He's amazing.
So he signed my books. You know, we talk a little bit. Who else did I get to?
So you were pretty much focused on artists.
Oh yeah, all
not
artists.
Getting comics.
No, I end up buying. Marvel Spotlight number 3, the second Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. You got a lot of Werewolf by Night.
Yeah,
stuff.
So
you're trying to complete that run now.
Yeah,
right?
I'm missing 2 books. I thought I was only missing
Werewolf
1.
by Night 32, I'm sure.
And 33. Yeah. So I got facsimiles in their spot as placeholder. But I got Werewolf by Night, the second appearance of Werewolf by Night from Chris. It's last name Falls.
Chris Foss, yeah.
From South Carolina. They're always great. They're always good people. They're always willing to deal with us. And then my buddy Troy Dongera, he did a few commissions for me, and I wanted my other buddy Angela to color it, and she colored my Samurai Leo.
That's awesome.
And I was pretty.
That's a good haul. That's a good haul for you.
Yeah.
Ian, what'd you pick up?
It was good for me.
I wasn't anything for collecting, but actually for a project for a guitar, which I was given just an old guitar that wasn't in super great condition, but I was like, how about take like some cool panels and cool stuff from different like
you set it down and you're ready to do like when they do those tables
like a epoxy
thing.
And like literally a whole like all the days except for getting some of the stuff signed was just me flipping through like the dollar books around the con, just picking them out, looking at the panels, looking at the covers, and so.
Bernie, how about you?
What did I do? Artwork. I don't know what the comic books was the least of my mind because except for getting stuff signed, of course.
And I know you got some stuff signed for the shop too.
Yes, we did get some stuff signed for the shop.
Obviously, that's the whole point. You go there as a businessman and a fan.
Yes, for sure. And I guess we did the. Of course, Miko Sion. He's actually a pretty cool cat. I've gotten to know him on Facebook a little bit, and since we met him a couple years ago, and I talked about him doing a commission, and I decided I don't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I love his Wolverine, but I've got already a couple of Wolverine in the shop.
Yeah.
So then I was like, what do we give him? And I just said, hey man, I said, hey, can you do a Nikki Sixx? And he looked at me and me and Ryder. He goes, who the fuck is that? Yeah. And we started laughing like Molly. He's like, and I just showed him the tattoo, and he's like, oh, big hairy thing. I said, yeah. And then I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, look, man, what can I have him do? Spider-Punk. And I'd go, man, you choose. He goes, you can pick anything. And he's like, and I said, how about Gene Simmons? And he knew who Gene Simmons was.
Oh,
so
okay.
Everybody, the demon,
Everybody knows.
And plus that it's a good
a lot of women
visual.
Who know who Gene Simmons is. Too.
It's a good visual.
With a lot of them.
It's a good visual. You're drawing the demon. Yeah. So he did do one for me, and that ended up being it there. See?
Oh, that's cool.
So it's pretty cool. It was his first time he actually drew Gene. Because like the next day I said, Gene Simmons or Spider-Punk? And I was, I'm on a Spider-Punk kick. Yeah. And he's like, well, Gene Simmons, because I've never drawn.
On this question, and I want you guys to tell me the worst thing that you hated about Heroes Con this year.
I got an answer.
All right, go ahead.
A lot of people are going to hate me about this one. But just Chris Claremont. Big name, big with X-Men. Just, I love, I get it, talking to your fans. I get to know them. when you talk to them about 30 minutes, when there's about 50 people in line, other people are going to get agitated. And I was in that group about 3 hours.
He actually came to me. He goes, because we're getting self-signed for people.
Like, you stand in line, I use the bathroom.
He goes, Chris Claremont's line is small.
Yeah.
So I'll do that one. And then he went.
3 hours later.
And then we were sitting there, we're hanging out, and we're like, we went to go get lunch.
Yeah.
We came back, has anybody seen Ian?
But that's exactly what Mike was talking about. It's great that you want to get to know your fans, but
yes,
you got to recognize other people.
So, do you know what actually happened? You do know that his belt broke. Did you know that?
No, but I know he was like, he got Sharpie on his shirt, and he spent like maybe 7 minutes trying to get it off his shirt when it's Sharpie. And you know,
but
Sharpie.
Before that, I didn't know it. Someone told me his belt broke while he was doing the signing. Yeah, so he said, "I'll be back." That's why he was gone for about, I heard like 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah. I did see him get up, and he got up a good amount of times.
That's what it was. The one time was because his belt broke. And I remember seeing him walk by, and he was holding a belt. He was holding a belt, and so I was like, what's going on? And then I heard from one of the fans. Now, it's weird because like the next day, Saturday, I saw people go through quick.
Yeah. Wish I did on Saturday.
So your worst thing about Heroes Con, Mike?
This year?
Yeah.
I didn't have a bad experience this year. The people that were around me in lines didn't smell how they usually do.
Oh, I was like, one person I walked by, I was like, even though it was just like,
there was a few.
You know why? Because they keep the cosplay people down in the corner.
Yeah, that's
right. That's it too.
Like, your worst. Did you have a bad experience?
I didn't. I just like it. I think we talked about it. I just hated that you walked around at 10 o'clock in the morning, and when the con's open, and you see some of the artists not even there yet, not in the creeps. And I just think that's
aggravating.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they'll have certain times. Oh, we're signing it so and so to so and so.
Right. And they may have a private signing. Maybe
that's always kind of bugged me these days.
So, any wrap ups on?
No,
Heroes Convention?
I love Heroes. Heroes is my favorite convention.
Yeah, it's definitely one of these that I think everybody looks forward to every year.
For me, Heroes is always, and I've been to San Diego, I've been to New York, I've been to Chicago, I've been to MegaCon. Heroes is like home for me.
Yeah,
and it's because Shelton and his staff always do a great job of making it feel homely. It makes it makes you feel home, makes you feel comfortable. I guess that's the word.
Right.
They don't leave anybody out. So that's why I've always loved Heroes Con. So definitely a thank you to Shelton Drum, and your staff, the Heroes Art and Fine staff, and all the volunteers that help out.
It takes a lot to put on a convention.
It does.
Especially at that size.
Yes, for sure. All right, thank you guys again for tuning in. We will definitely be back. We're talking about just some other stuff as well, besides the couch comics and commentary here on YouTube. We're also talking about doing a radio segment, not a podcast. For Haynes Broadcasting. So more stuff to come out of that. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We'll talk to you soon. If you get a chance, definitely like, share our stuff out. Comment. And as we always say at the Dragons here, it's always about the comic community. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and thank you for your support. Take care. Bye-bye.